Let x be a random variable with a probability density function given by f of x equals cx squared when x is between -1 and 1 and 0 otherwise. First, we need to find out what c is. Well, in this case, we know that the integral between -1 and 1 of cx squared dx has to equal 1 because this is a probability density function. That integral is cx cubed over 3, evaluated from -1 to 1. And so that's when x is equal to 1, we get c over 3 minus a negative c over 3. So this is 2c over 3, and that has to equal 1, which tells us that c is 3/2. And if we think about this function here a little bit, we can see that, in fact, we might have been able to simplify that calculation a little bit. It's symmetric, right? So here is 1, here is -1. It's a parabola, okay? And so the height here is 3/2. And we know that half of the area is here, half the area is on the other side. All right. Next, this little observation is going to help us a little bit with the part 2. The expected value of our random variable x is equal to the integral from -infinity to infinity, or in this case, -1 to 1 of x times f of x So this is x times x is x cubed. So the antiderivative is 3/2 x to the 4 over 4. So instead of 3/2, let's make it 3/8. That's a value from -1 to 1. And this is going to be when x is equal to 1, 3/8 minus when x is -1, we also get 3/8. And so the expected value is 0. And of course it's 0, because everything on the right balances everything on the left. So the center of this distribution is at x equals 0. So of course we would expect to average 0. Now what about the variance? The variance is the expected value of x squared minus the expected value of x squared. So we need to figure out the expected value of x squared. So this is going to be the integral from -1 to 1 of x squared times 3/2 x squared. So x squared times x squared is x to the 4. Antiderivative is x to the 5th. So 3/2 x to the 5th over 5. So it's not 3/2. In fact, it's 3 over 10 times x to the 5, going from -1 to 1. So when x is positive 1, we get 3 over 10, minus when x is -1, we get -3 over 10. So that's 6 over 10, or 3 over 5. Okay, so the expected value of x squared is 3 over 5. the expected value of x is 0, so 0 squared is 0, which means the variance is 3/5 or 0.6. Okay, last part. The probability that x is greater than 1/2. Probability that x is greater than 1/2 is going to be equal to the integral from 1/2 to 1 of our function here, 3/2 x squared. So this is 1/2 x cubed, right? Raise this to the power of 3, divide by 3, it cancels with this 3 up top, going from 1/2 to 1. So when x is 1, we get 1/2. Sorry, when x is 1, we get 1/2. When x is 1/2, we get 1/2 cubed is 8 times 1/2 is a 16th. So 1/2 is 8/16 minus 1/16 is 7/16. And so that's the probability that x is greater than 1/2. And again, if we look at the picture here, you know that it's going to be less than 1/2 because the whole right side is 1/2. But when you look at this first piece here, when x is less than 1/2, this is quite a small amount in this region here, right? So in fact, this region here is only 1/8, as we saw, or 1/16 as we saw here. So we take this piece off, the 1/16 off, and we end up with 7/16.